Welcome. In this video, we shall be managing extensions. But this particular video has to do with managing of the template extension. When I say extension, I simply mean templates, modules, plugins, and language manager. All what I've mentioned now are called extensions in Joomla. The template, for example, is simply a normal template, which when you say template, it simply means a format for something. Okay, straight to the point. You need to make sure that our server and our database are up and running for us to be able to access our site and our backend. Because if both the server and database have been shut down, then you won't be able to access your website and your backend, which is your administrator end. To do that, we need to make sure that XAMPP or our XAMPP control is working. So I'll simply remember to always make sure that your XAMPP, or rather your control panel, is running. And inside the control panel, that's where you have your server and your database. You need to make sure at all times when you're building your site that they are both running. If they are not on, then you won't be able to access your site. Alright, to do that, just the way we've done before, I'll simply right click on it, click on run as administrator, say yes. Once this comes up, okay, because the last time I actually did shut down my system before making this video. That is why both the server, which is the Apache, and the database are both off. So I will need to start them by clicking on start for the Apache, and also click on start for the MySQL, which is our database. Good. Once they are both running, I will simply minimize this. Now I will go to the browser by clicking, and then I want to access my front end first, which is my website which I'm creating. Remember, you're starting it with the name with the name localhost, because we are still running on our computer. We've not taken our site onto the internet yet. Localhost slash the name of your website, then you press enter on your keyboard. Good. This is our site. Now I want to go into the back end as the administrator or as a super user. I'll simply open another tab and type in localhost again slash the name of your website, this time around slash administrator. Good. Then I'll press enter on my keyboard. Okay, if this simply happens, all you need to do is simply try again. I guess the server is having a little issue, so we'll simply try again. If that doesn't work, simply come here and type what I typed again, localhost slash Amazon slash administrator. And to make sure the spelling is right, Amazon is right, administrator is also right. So I'll simply enter again. Good. has brought me to the login page, and I hope you know why you have to log in here. You log in here because nobody has access to this backend except you as the administrator or as a super user. So you simply type in your username, which is admin. After that, you come to password and type in the password which you created when you were installing Joomla. I repeat, it is the password which you gave when you were installing Joomla and not the password that was sent to you when you bought this manual. So I'll simply type in the password now, and then I'll click on login. Okay, I think there's a little error. Simply close this. Username and password do not match, or you do not have an account yet. I'll simply type in admin again. I think I must have made a mistake when I was spelling admin. Under password, type in my password again. Now log in again. Good. I'll simply close this. Now I'm in my back end where all my configuration for my site will be taking place. Alright, you have different headings here. What we'll be dealing with in this video is extensions. We shall be managing extensions. If I come to extension and I click, you will see extension manager, module manager, plugin manager, template manager, language manager. What we shall be managing in this video is our template. Okay, I'll simply come back to the front end just to illustrate something to you. If you notice, the web page looks like a paper on a background. I'm not comfortable with it. Some others might be comfortable with it. You might be comfortable with it, but I'm not comfortable with it. I want it to cover the whole page here. I will have to do that under my template manager. Now, the way this site looks like is actually because of the template which is active. I'll simply come back to my back end again, come to extension, and then I'll go to template manager because this video is about managing your templates. I'll simply click on template manager. Once this comes up, you're inside your template manager already. Now, you have different templates here, and then you have the ones that are active. What I mean by the one that are active is if you look at under default, you have some stars in relation to all these templates here. Now the stars that are in color yellow are the active templates, and the location has to do with which template is for your front end or your back end. For example, this Bees Fruit Shop is a template for the front end, which is your site. The Bees Street default template is a template for your site also, or your front end, while this and this are both templates for your back end as an administrator. You also have another template called Protostar default, which is for your site or your front end. Now these two, the ISIS default is the active template because it's in yellow for your administrator for this back end. The way this back end looks is because of this particular template called ISIS, which is active. While for the front end, The template which is active is a protostar default. That's why you have it in yellow. Let me quickly demonstrate something to you. Notice how this back end looks like. And the active template is this ISIS for the back end. I'll simply change it to this other one for administrator, which is the back end, this other one. And then we'll watch what will happen to the way this our back end looks like. For me to make this auto default template active for this backend, I'll simply click on this star right here. Notice what happens. It has changed the way your backend looks. So that is what template is about. I hope you understand. Good. I want to go back to the other template which was active, which is the ISIS. I don't really like this auto template for this is my administrator end or the back end. So all I need to do is simply make the ISIS, which was the former template, active again by simply clicking on this star right here. Good. We are back to the way it was before. Alright. What we just did now was to demonstrate how you can change templates for the back end. I shall also demonstrate the same thing for the front end. I'll simply come to the front end again. Look at how your front end looks like, the appearance. I want to change it so that you understand what I mean by templates. I will go back to my back end. This time around, remember the template which is active for the front end of your site is a proto star because the star here is yellow, and then this other one also is yellow for the back end. I'll simply make this bees default, which is a template for my sites for the front end active, and then I'll go back to my front end and see how it changes it. I'll simply click on this now. Okay, good. It is now yellow. That means this is the default, or rather this is the active template now for my front end. I'll simply come to my front end and refresh it to see what changes it has made. Good. It looks different now, right? Yes, it does. So that is template for you. Well, I don't really like this particular template, I for one. So I'll simply revert back to the other template which was active. And to do that, I'll simply come back to my back end, and the former template for the front end was protostar. So I'll simply click on this star to make it active. Once that has been done, I'll come back to my front end and then refresh. Good. I'm back to the way it was before, and I'm comfortable with it this way. You might not be comfortable with this. It depends on you. You can use the template which you're comfortable with or which you like. I'll simply come back to my back end again. Now, this particular template which is active, I want to modify it to suit my tastes. I want to make some modification. To modify the template, I'll simply come back to my back end and go to the template which is active, which is the protostar default. To edit it, all I need to do is click on it once. Then it takes me in here. Now we're under details. We have the style name of the template protostar default. The template is protostar. It's a site template. Default is all. The ID is 7. We just leave this the way it is. For editing, I will simply come to options. Now under options and under advanced options, I have template color. That is, what color do you want your template to be? For example, if I come back to my front end, you notice the color here, it's somehow blue. You can call it blue. You can actually change what colors we want these to be. I'll make a quick illustration. I'll come back to my back end, and under the template color, I'll simply click in here. Templates, or rather colors, are represented with numbers. So all I need to do is simply come back here. To change the color, I'll simply click in here, and once this color palette comes up, I'll choose a particular color which I want. Let's say, for example, I want to make it red. So I'll just come down here, either up here or down, wherever I have red. I'll just click. Okay, this is giving me more something that looks like orange. Okay, I don't want that. I'll simply come up for red. Okay, good. Now I will come here and choose the shade of red which I want. If I click here, the shade of red changes. If I'm okay with this shade of red, I'll simply click on select. Now notice the template, the number of the color has changed. To see what we've done, before we see what we've done, remember I told you that whenever you edit anything, you have the option of saving. You should always save. If you don't save, then you will not be able to see the effect in the front end. So I'll simply click on save. And after doing that, I'll go back to my front end. Remember the color was blue and I changed it to red. So to see the effect, I'll simply refresh. Yes, now the color has changed to red because I changed it in the back end as being the administrator of my website. Alright, I'm okay with this red. You can use any color you like. Okay, let me just quickly change it to another color. Let's use green so that you really understand what we're talking about. I'll simply come back to options again. Under template color, I'll click. I want to use green this time around, so I'll choose green somewhere there. Choose the shade of green which I want by clicking here. If I'm okay with this shade, I click OK. I click on save. I go to my front end or my site and then I refresh and see what happens. The color has changed to green, but I'm not comfortable with green. I don't like green. Depends on you. I want it to be red, so I'll simply change it back to red by going back to my back end, going to my options, coming to my template color, going to red, and then I'll choose the shade of red which I want, and I'll click on select, then I save, and I'll go back to my front end and I refresh to see what happens. Good, it's back to color red. Alright, I'll go back to my back end to make some further editing of my templates. Go back to options. The template color has been changed to red. The background color simply means the color of the background. Coming back to the front end, this background is what we're talking about. If you want to change the color of this background, you simply change it under background color. Just the same way you did for template color, you click and then you choose a particular background color which you want. Let's assume I want to make it blue. So I just choose this shade of blue, click on select, and then I save. After saving, I'll go back to my front end and then I'll refresh. Notice the background color has changed. Well, like I said from the beginning, I don't like my website looking like a paper on a background. I want it to cover the whole of the page. So I'll still have to edit that later. I'll go back to my back end and do some further editing of my template. I'll go back to options. Now, the next thing we have here is the logo. Your website or your company will have a logo which you have already designed, like a picture or like a JPEG, or you might have saved it as JPEG or GIF or whatever format of picture which you want on your computer. For that logo to be placed on your website, this is where you go to upload it. What I simply mean is, if I come back home, what I have here is just the name of my website. If I want to replace this with a logo, this name, the logo of my company or the logo of your website, all we need to do at the back end is to come to select. Once you come to select, we have different folders here. The pictures in these folders are pictures that came with Joomla. You as the site administrator or as the website builder can actually upload whatsoever picture which you want onto Joomla and then use it for whatever purpose you want to use it for. I'll just quickly make a quick illustration here. If I go into sample data, if I go into banners, if I click on banners, we have some pictures here which can be used. They came with Joomla, but I don't want to use any of these, so I'll simply go back up. Once I click up, it takes me back to where I was before. I click on headers. There are different pictures here also. If you want any of these pictures to be your logo, all you need to do is click on it and then use it. But for now, I'm not using any of this, so I'll simply go back up. Under sample data, there are other pictures there also. I'll click. I also have two other folders here with pictures inside. If I click on fruit shops, I have pictures of fruits. Let's say, for example, I want to use this as the logo of my company or of my website. Okay, all I need to do is click on it and click on insert here. Once you do that, you notice that it will give you the name of the image which you've used here. Before, here was empty, but now since you chose a picture for the logo, you already have a name here. So to see how it looks like in the front end, I have to save first by clicking on save. Then I'll go back to my front end and then I'll refresh. Take a look at what happens here. It will simply replace this Amazon with that particular picture which you chose for your logo. Once I refresh, notice it has removed the name Amazon and replaced it with the picture which you chose for your logo. This picture is kind of too big. You can actually resize your pictures. You can make them smaller, you can make them bigger depending on how you want it. Here, I would like to make this picture smaller. At least I would like to make it 1/4 of its size for now, or even 1/5 of its size. All I need to do is to go back to my back end. I'll go back to my options. Now the logo I chose, the picture I chose is still there. So all I need to do for now, or rather, I think we should take this step by step. What I'll simply do, there will be a video that will show you how to resize your pictures. But for now, we will simply continue with other things. Or rather, I will put a logo which I have already created, which I saved on my computer, because this picture is actually too big for now. Later we shall be learning how to resize your pictures. What I want to do now is to clear this picture which I actually gave or choose as my logo. To clear it, I'll simply click on clear. Now click on save. Once I do that, I'll come back to my home and then I'll refresh, and then this picture will be gone because I have cleared it. Good. I'll simply come back to my backend. Before I do that, you don't really have to put a logo here if you don't want to. It's not a must that you must put a logo, but most companies do have logos, and it would be nice for you to have their logo or your logo on the website. Like I said, I already have a logo created for Amazon, which is on my computer, but it has not been uploaded onto Joomla itself. Or rather, it has not been uploaded into where I have pictures in my Joomla, which is at my back end. To do that, I'll simply come back to options. I'll go back to logo, click on select. The logo which I want to upload is not here. It has not been uploaded into Joomla. What we have here are just the default pictures that came with Joomla. Now all I need to do is locate where my logo is or where my picture is on my computer and then upload it onto Joomla. I can actually create a folder here and put my picture which I want to upload inside, or I will simply for now, for the case of this particular video, upload the logo directly here. All I need to do, once you scroll down, if I come here and I scroll down, you would see something that states upload file. Now I want to upload my logo from my computer because it is not in Joomla, but I have it designed already on my desktop, on my computer. It's telling you that upload files, the maximum size is 10 MB. You cannot upload a picture that is more than 10 MB. But later we shall learn how to increase this size. But for now, let's work with this. So to upload my logo, I'll simply click on browse. This comes up. I have my logo on my desktop, which is where it took me to directly, my desktop on my computer. And I have it saved in a file called Dix. So I'll simply scroll down until I get a file called Dix, which is this. I'll simply open it by double clicking. I have different pictures here. Remember, these pictures are on my computer and not on Joomla. But I want to upload a particular picture which I want to use on my logo onto Joomla. That is why I'm here. So I'll simply scroll down until I get a logo which I have designed before. Fine. This is a logo which I have designed before. I'll simply click on it and I'll click on open. And then I'll click on start upload so that it will upload it onto Joomla so I can use it as my logo. So I'll simply click on start upload now. Once it has been uploaded, it will tell you upload complete. Now, this is it here. It wasn't here before. All you had here was banners, headers, sample data, and then these other ones. But because I've uploaded it directly in here, that's why I have it here now. Now I'll simply use it as my logo because it's already in Joomla. So how do I do that? I'll click on it and I'll click on insert. It has been inserted, so I'll need to save. Once I've saved, I will go to my home and then refresh and see how it's been placed here. Good. I have refreshed it and now the logo has appeared and has replaced the other name which was there before. Like I told you before, I shall be teaching you later how to resize images or pictures which you want to use in Joomla to suit or to fit into where you want them to fit into. Good. We've uploaded a logo for our site. You could actually design yours on your computer, either using CorelDRAW or some other applications that are used for graphic designs. Alright, back to my backend. I need to keep editing my template. So I'll simply go back to my backend, come back to options. What we just did now was to upload a logo. Under title, if you notice, it's simply telling you title, alternative page title. If you don't want your logo to appear, rather if what you want is just the name of your website and then something else, you can type in the title here. I'll simply type in a title, so I'll demonstrate what I mean by that. The name of my website is Amazon. Let's say I now decide to put parentheses and then give the motto of my website, which is, I'll simply come back to the front to know what it is, your right choice. I'll come back to the back end and type your right choice. If I click on save, if I come back home and then I refresh, no changes was made. Why? Because my logo is still active. I did not remove my logo from the back end. But once I go back to the back end and I go back to options and I clear the logo, for example, I just want to show you what this means. If I clear the logo and then I refresh, or rather I save, if I go back to my front end and I refresh, what you typed in your title is what is here now, Amazon, your right choice. So it actually depends on you if you want a logo or you want just a title for your website. But rather, I'd rather have a logo here instead of this. So to revert back to the logo, I'll simply go back to my backend. I'll go to options. I'll go to logo. And I'll go to select. This is my logo. It is here because I had already uploaded it from my computer onto Joomla. So all I need to do is click on it, click on insert, click on save. Once it is saved, I'll go back home and then I'll refresh. Good. My logo is back and I'm comfortable with it this way. Back to our backend and back to options to continue our editing of our templates. Description simply means you describing what your site, or rather the title of your site. It is not necessary, it's optional, so we leave it blank. Google font for headings, you leave it as yes. Google font name, you leave it as what it is. Good. This is a very important part, the fluid layout. Remember when I told you, let me simply go back to my front end, when I told you from the beginning that I don't like my website looking like a paper on the background. For me to make this site, or rather the site, to cover the whole of this area, I'll simply come back to my back end. This is where I will change it from, under this particular template, under fluid layout. All I simply will do is click on fluid. Once I click on fluid, I would save. Once I have saved, I'll simply go back to my front end or to my site and refresh and then watch what will happen. Fine. Now my site has covered the whole space, and this is how I like my site to look like. Alright, going back to the back end, going back to options, we've actually edited all of this. I've explained what these are. Now I'll simply go to menus, assignment. Once I click on menus assignment, what menus assignment simply means is you have different menus on your website. There will be a video that would describe what menus are, but for now, all we simply will do here is simply click on toggle selection, so as to select all what you have here. In subsequent videos, you will understand what menus are and how to go about them. So all I'll simply do here is click on toggle, select everything which is here, and then I'll click on save. Once I've done that, that's the last thing I'll be doing here now under template manager. Remember from the beginning, I told you that template simply means how your site looks like. You have templates for your back end, you have templates for your front end. And I actually illustrated how different templates look like when you activate them or when you make them active. There are other templates available on the internet for Joomla aside the templates which came with your installation. If you want other templates, all you need to do is simply go to Joomla's website and download them. But that is a lesson for another time. Once we're done here with our template, I could simply save and close because I'm done with template management. I'll simply click on save and close. Once I do that, it brings me back here. Okay. Now it brought me back to where I have my different templates. But I'm done with template management, and I hope you really do understand what you just learned in this video. Thank you.